Hello world, Wendy from Cali here, back with our Mixed Manny chat. This week we are doing Color Play by Color Street, October's subscription box, Gothic Beauty. I wanted to use all 4 of the sets that were included in the box, and I finally came up with this. Kinda looks weird, but we'll see how it looks on the nails. I've been playing around with the different thoughts on what I want to do with this box, and that is where I landed. If you are new here, thanks for watching. I do my nails almost on a weekly basis, sometimes maybe more than once a week. But I just chit-chat about life and do my nails mostly with Color Street. And yeah, if you like, feel free to like and subscribe. Tell your friends, come join me. Let's do our nails. So, I was really sad if you guys watched the last video. I did my Nightmare Before Christmas Sally inspired nails. I loved them so much. I hadn't loved a mani that much in a very long time, and I kept it on the full week. I didn't want to take them off. But today I did a whole bunch of stuff related to getting Panda Bear's Halloween costume. Panda Bear is my significant other. Getting his Halloween costume kind of put together, that I knew I had to do my nails because there was lots of growth. My nails were growing out already, and I'm a stickler for any chips and growth and all of that. I just don't like seeing them, so yeah, definitely had to, it was time to transition to another mani. Alright, but the thing is, this one, so I'm not going to use the ombre strips. I actually want to just use the color. So I'm going to try and use the smaller ones because they are going to be layered with the others. And I want to kind of try to save the leftover strips. And I realized that I put the smaller ones in here, so let me take them back out. I want to use the normal strips I typically use for another mixed mani later on. So this, if you can tell, is a little bit sheer, but when it's on the nails, I don't think it's gonna translate as sheer. Originally I was thinking about maybe possibly putting it over, because I want to kind of replicate this. I want to replicate this teaser design that they had when they were showing off the box, and that is what I plan to do. But I also want to use the interesting tips that they have with this, which I call high stakes, even though it's called Beautiful Nightmare. I wanted to use that, but instead of being underneath the black, I wanted to use it on top of the black, because I haven't seen anyone else do it, and I don't know if it's because it's not going to look right when I do it, but I'm here to try it just for you guys. So we're getting closer and closer to Halloween, and that means making sure everybody's costumes are ready to go. We also, every Halloween, Panda Bear is allowed to make me watch a horror film. So, the previous years we watched Terrorizer and Terrorizer 2, which definitely was not my faves. Very gory, bloody, gruesome, really disgusting. Yeah, if you're into that kind of horror, you will likely love those movies. I was horrified. I had to watch one of the movies through the window. I would be sitting on the couch with my head turned from the TV, looking through the reflection in the window to watch the movie because it was just that gruesome. I am not a big fan of like gruesome, gory Halloween stuff, and so yeah. But this year, so before we got into the movie for Halloween, since Halloween lands on a weekday this year, we ended up watching the Halloween movie this weekend. And before we watched the one that Panda Bear picked for me to watch this year, my nieces and I watched Monster High 2, and we also watched Haunted Mansion. So that was a lot of fun. I, of course, watched both of those movies first, just to make sure they were okay for the girls to watch. Because the girls are only 5 and 7, and ended up, you know, they were good enough where it wasn't like bad to show it to them. So we watched those, and then they had bedtime. I actually had them listen to Sideways Stories from Wayside School. I don't know if any of you have grown up with that book, but one of my absolute faves as I was growing up, and so I wanted to introduce the girls to that. But yes, the movie that Panda Bear chose for Halloween this year was Megan. I don't know if you all have seen that movie, about this AI toy that, you know, ends up being much more. But yeah, I remember that my brother and his wife, when we were heading out to vacation in April, they asked if we wanted them to bring the DVD with them so that we could watch it all together as a family on vacation, and we were like, yeah, doesn't matter, up to you. And so he didn't end up bringing it, and I was like, yes, I don't have to watch a horror movie. But of course, then Panda Bear chooses it as this year's Halloween movie to watch, which it's free to stream on Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime. But yeah, surprisingly, despite some of the bad acting in the movie was actually really good. I was surprised. Yes, I had to kind of cover my eyes and avert my eyes a bit for the kills, but overall, very surprised. Really good, actually. So yeah, if you haven't seen it and you like suspense and horror and all of that stuff, you will likely enjoy Megan. Sorry, I'm trying to get this on right. And I don't know if I'm going to be sad that I didn't use the ombre part, but I know that the ombre part's not going to fit in with my mixed mani this week. So I will, however, try to keep some of the strips for later, which I should actually start putting those away now so that they don't dry out. So Color Street is a one-time use application product, but if you heat seal them or store them in your freezer, sometimes the leftovers can still be used at a later date, which is why I'm putting them back in their original packaging here, and I'm going to heat seal them. Alright, but yes. So, what else did we do? This weekend's been kind of a blur. I know early in the morning yesterday, I had done a little bit of work before we headed over to my sister-in-law Carla's, and one of my nieces was not feeling the best, so she had to do a lot of resting, even though she really wanted to play and do other things. We did end up playing cards with her. We played Go Fish. I did both of my niece's nails with leftover sets. I will post a picture of that in my Facebook group, Wendy's Nail Face Studio. They basically had kind of like a, there's a trend going around called paint chip manis, meaning that you kind of do like the same color family but different nails, kind of like almost like a rainbow ombre, but not really a rainbow because it's, you know, the same color family. But my nieces all had purple and lavender nails with the Face the Jacks, which was a set from a prior Halloween year, clear overlay with kind of like jack-o'-lantern faces, and they had, each of them had little jack-o'-lantern thumbs. Really cute and really simple. So I was kind of glad that they allowed for me to like pick their mixed mani. I kind of like to, you know, make things look cohesive. When I let them pick, it's a mishmash of a bunch of different leftover sets, which is fine. But then they end up like not liking it very long. Whereas if you kind of do like a cohesive mix, it tends to stay on longer. At least that's how I see it. But yeah. We ate way too much food yesterday, so today was not going to be a big food day. Panda Bear and I actually went running, well, walking and jogging this morning. And before we did that, I dyed his scarf. So I bought a scarf off of Shein. And it was relatively inexpensive. I think it was like $4 or less than $4. But it was black and white, and his scarf needed to be gray and black. So I had purchased some gray fabric dye off of Amazon, and so this morning I dyed his scarf, and I think it came out pretty well. The gray is a little less dark than I had hoped for, but after thinking about it, it's going to be relatively dark for Halloween when we're out with the kids to do trunk or treat in their city. So having the lighter gray would actually look like a good contrast in the dim light. So I'm not mad about it at all. But I had Panda Bear try on the jacket that we purchased for his costume, and it was way too small. So sometimes with the sizes from clothing from Shein, you have to be careful because the sizes are like, even if they say large and you're used to wearing a large here in the US, a lot of the sizes are like sizes from China, and a large over there is definitely not a large over here. A large over there is like a small / medium over here, I think. Not even a medium. I'm pretty sure small. But we're going to save that jacket for our nephew, Benjamin, because the jacket actually looks really good. And it was funny when Panda Bear had put his the jacket on. First thing I thought was, oh, this jacket would look really good on Benjamin, because Benjamin kind of looks like his uncle a little bit. Panda Bear and Carla, they both have very distinct features, especially their eyes. And so Benjamin's got those striking eyes. And so I was like, oh, we should save that jacket for Benjamin for a Christmas present. So that's what we're going to do with that jacket. So we had to buy another jacket, and we found one off of Amazon. So hopefully that one's going to work out better. But I don't know if I mentioned that Panda Bear is going to be dressing up as Gru from Despicable Me. So on top of dyeing his scarf today, I also attempted to follow a YouTube video to make a bald cap using liquid latex. The video made it look like it was gonna be way easier than the actual work. So let me tell you, I luckily, you know, had the thought to put down a plastic bag over my desk underneath, you know, the balloon and all the supplies that I was going to use for the bald cap. The first balloon that I had blown up popped on me before I could even get started with the liquid latex. When I was putting the Vaseline on, it completely popped on me, which really was like, I'm not a fan of balloons when they pop. I hate the sound. So it was kind of like, oh my goodness. And so then I used a different balloon. And when I used the different balloon, everything worked out fine. It took many layers. At first, I didn't want to use a blow dryer to dry each layer of the liquid latex because you're supposed to do like 7 to 10 layers of the liquid latex to create this bald cap. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I will just let it air dry and come back to it when it's dry with each layer. And so I went to go watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem again because I'm actually dressing up as Donatello from the movie. And I was like wanting to get a closer look at the costume that I plan to replicate for Halloween. And I was doing that, coming back to the bald cap project every so often to see if, like, you know, it was drying properly and adding the next layers and stuff like that. It was a lot of work. A lot of work. But the bald cap ended up looking like really decent. So for the amount of money I spent and the time and effort I put in, I think it's gonna end up looking really good. So obviously I'll post photos of Panda Bear dressed as Gru. Benjamin's dressing up as a minion, which I'm so excited to see both Panda Bear and Benjamin standing together in their costumes. That's gonna look so awesome. But yeah, the balloon, when I was trying to remove the bald cap carefully from the balloon, the process asks you to kind of like powder it up so that the latex won't stick anymore. And as I was powdering it up and trying to take the bald cap off, the balloon popped. I was like, oh my god, right now, like if this bald cap gets all stuck together to itself and gets ruined and I can't use it, I'm gonna be so mad. But anyways, luckily it didn't do that. Alright, so that Shadow Sisters first layer. And this is going to be the last layer because I want to do the tips first and then that's going to be at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Dark Side, which I swear is literally just Midnight in Manhattan cut up in a different way. But I'm going to use that first on the tips. So as the image shows, I want the tips right here just to peek out with the gold Beautiful Nightmare on top of it. So that is that's the look I'm looking for with the tips. So let's see if that translates when I actually put them on my nails. So, but yeah, on top of doing all that, so dyeing the scarf, going running with Panda Bear, I also made a chili this today because I was talking to Panda Bear about, you know, different soups and stuff like that. Like, the other week I had made a copycat Olive Garden Zuppa Toscana soup. And I was like, "Oh, what other soups should I make?" And Panda Bear had said, "Oh, you should make a chili." Oh, actually, these will probably be the best for my little pinkies here. All right. The one thing I don't like about pre-cut strips when they have specific angles is that you have to pick the right one for your nails, and sometimes they don't have ones that fit my nails exactly, because we all have different nails. So, gotta find the right one that fits. So, I'm gonna put it right there. There we go. Alright. So, Panda Bear wanted a chili, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can make a chili." Because he said that in the past I've made a chili and he really liked it. And I was like, good luck with me replicating whatever chili I made in the past. Because the thing with me is that I will follow a recipe, but not completely. I will always take a recipe. And kind of follow it loosely. Because then I get creative with the ingredients that we have on hand. And I do that with all the cooking that I do. And cooking for me is rare because I just don't like the kitchen here at the house. I don't know how Panda Bear and my mom, like, they're the ones who are the main cooks of the house. So I don't know how they do it on the regular basis, because our kitchen is horrible. So typically when I do cooking, I'm like using my Instant Pot a lot. I will use my Instant Pot. And same with the chili today. I used my Instant Pot chili. I followed the recipe, sort of, kind of, not really. Like, I took liberties of, like, one thing, like the onion powder that we had at home was no longer good, so I didn't have any onion powder. And then I added a whole bunch of other seasoning and spices that I will not disclose because it is my secret. But needless to say, the chilies were an awesome, complete success because Panda Bear had 2 bowls of it, and my parents both had bowls and I had bowls, and we had enough to save for my sister-in-law Carla. So, huge success. Really good. And Panda Bear was like telling me, he's like, "You know, I could eat your chili every week if you make it every week." And that's saying something. So that made me happy. But I'm not going to cook it every week because I don't like my kitchen. But, you know, every so often when we're feeling a little bit chilly, we'll make some chili. We've got a bunch of projects going out tomorrow for work, so it's like crunch time for me and my team. So I've been trying to keep the work-life balance. But on Friday, I got called home early because, I don't know if, for those that have been following, my dad, when we went to Utah to babysit my sister's kids back in August, he ended up coming home with a catheter because he wasn't able to pee on his own for some reason. Something happened over there. We're not quite sure what's going on. But fast forward to now, we're in October, he's still not able to pee on his own. And it's a little scary and a little frustrating, don't really know what the heck is going on. So Friday, his doctor had scheduled for him to take it out to try again, you know, try and see if you can pee on your own, and he wasn't able to, so got called home early so that Panda Bear could take my pops to get the catheter reinserted, and also kind of be there for the doctor's appointment to just listen in and see what the doctors are recommending. And but it was a good thing that I was called home early, because I was able to finish my shift at home and ended up taking some work calls, some important work calls that were best if they were in my court. So anyways, I guess everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't have been able to take that call if I worked my normal schedule and Panda Bear and I were sitting in traffic coming home at our normal time. So yeah. Anywho, I had way more plans to work this weekend. It just didn't work out. There's just too much going on right now, and the weekends aren't meant to be worked, even though that's been my normal for a while. It's kind of nice to have a weekend where today was one where I was just like, I just need to focus on my personal life today. So you know, spending time with the Rents and Panda Bear were a priority. Alright, let's see. This is where it gets really weird, because I gotta find the right ones that are gonna fit. Yeah, it's gonna be this, the little one. And then for the thumbs, I don't really know which one's gonna be the best one. Probably not the biggest one. Definitely will be using these differently next time, because they're not going to work for the tips like this. Yeah, see? It's going to be these. How are we on time? Oop, 10 minutes. Might be a two-parter video, but I am trying to use all of the sets from the box, because that way it kind of gives those of you who subscribe to the box and are trying to figure out what you want to do with them, if you wanted to use all of the sets, I'm trying to give you an option where you can do that. So I don't always make my videos that way. There are times where I will include other outside sets. And then at the very beginning, when we first started getting the Color Street Color Play subscription boxes, I didn't do this. Like, I would just use whatever sets from the box and make a mixed mani. And now that I've gotten a year's worth of boxes almost, I try to figure out how can we make these sets that we get in the box look cohesive in a mixed mani. So now that's my goal. Of course, sometimes they include sets in the boxes that just don't go together, and then there are other times where they'll include sets and you're like, there's something that's missing, that had they included that in the box, it would make way more sense. Like the Sunset Rider Color Play box in, was that August? No, that was September. September's box, it needed something extra, in my opinion, because everything was just kind of like all the same color family, and it just needed one little thing. So I added Moonlight Night And I really loved it because it reminded me of the skies in Arizona when we were out in Sedona at our family vacation. So yeah. I think I might have put that one way too far down. That's fine. It's already down. It is done. Can't undo it. Can't undo it. It's just nails. I'll try to not make this one so far down. But yeah, I'm going to be Donatello from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. But not like Ninja Turtle where he's holding the bow, the big stick, and it's got his purple mask on and his fanny pack. And if you haven't seen the movie, you'll understand. You'll have to watch it to understand what I mean. But I'm going to be dressed up as Donatello when he's going to high school. So again, you have to watch the movie to understand what I mean there. Hopefully that's not a spoiler for those that haven't watched the movie and want to watch it. Alright, so that is Darkseid with Shadow Sisters. Next, we're going to add Beautiful Nightmare, or my high stakes. Alright. Woo! Pick that up later. Alright, so this is where I wanted to place it just right on the tip. So I gotta figure out how this will work where I'm not covering all the black. And yes, I'm gonna be wasting a whole ton of the strip, but you know what? Sometimes you have to sacrifice for beauty, for the look. So that is what I wanted to do right there. Where the black is just a hint of black. And then the gold is on top. And then we will layer the last part In fact, let's do that. Cursed Beauty. See if we can do this quicker by having the sets already open and just go through each and every one. So I'm not using any of these ones here, except for my pointer finger. No, except for my ring finger. Aha. No. Yes, my ring finger. Whew, Jesus. Alright, let's see. Save those for later. So, definitely want the thumbs, the middle, ring, and pointer. And then these will be saved for another mixed mani. Yeah. Not a smart idea having the fan on while I'm doing this, but it's still pretty warm here in Southern California, so yeah. Alright, here we go. So a lot of folks were complaining. They were not satisfied with having just the one design here. They wish that the whole nail strip itself was the full design. And I totally get that. I mean, looking at the box, if we're looking at the box, and it's supposed to be a hint of what's in the box, you would expect to see more design, but ooh, it's kind of hard to see. Can you guys see that? little bit hard to see, but you know what? The thing I mind more, actually, is that it's laying right on top of the tip right there. Let's see if that's going to be the same over on my other pinky. Just barely. But yeah, for those that don't like the design, it's kind of cool that they've given you a clear as day, because if you turn it around, if you have shorter nails and turn it around, you're able to use the clear end as a clear as day. So you don't have to use this cursed beauty design if you don't want to. Eee, that's kind of giving me vampire vibes, which is what I was going for. So that makes me happy. Alright, let's get this down. This one you'll see more of the design over the gold, since it stretches all the way over. My nieces are asking if we had to choose between Halloween and Christmas, which would it be? And this auntie will always choose Halloween over Christmas. Christmas, to me, is overrated because of the fact that it's expected of us to get presents for everyone. And I just think that's not what Christmas is meant to be. Obviously, a lot of families celebrate Christmas as a religious holiday and all of that. So I'm sure that that's a lot more. It means a lot more. For me, though, Thanksgiving is the holiday that I'm really excited about for family, because it's a way to celebrate with my 3 favorite F's: family, food, and fun. Oh yeah, part 2, here we go. But Thanksgiving is my favorite, because also at work we get 2 days off. We get Thanksgiving and then the Friday after Thanksgiving. So definitely am more of a fan of Thanksgiving than Christmas. Christmas to me is just